I prefer to be alone. Am I a genius? If you often find yourself spending your evenings alone, snuggled into bed with a drink and Netflix, you probably already know that you are an introvert. However, preferring to be alone all the time can speak to more than your personality. It can also be an indicator of your smarts. Indeed, new research has shown that introverts might have a higher IQ than their extroverted counterparts. If you want to find out, take this Mensa quiz. People who spend a lot of time socializing with friends tend to feel happier. However, a study done by researchers at the Singapore Management University and the London School of Economics has shown that people of higher intelligence prefer their alone time. This conclusion required a massive number of people, and over 15,000 people between the ages of 18 and 28 participated in a national review used to conduct two different studies. The first study was done to examine the many links between the subject's score on an IQ test, where the subject lived, and how satisfied the participants reported they were with their lives. The second study was used to evaluate how each subject's IQ score compared to their satisfaction with their lives and how often they reported socializing with friends. Typically, the participants who lived in less populated areas reported feeling happier, although the people in the same regions who had higher IQs felt less satisfied. The results also found that the people who spent more time with their family and friends were happier unless they were more intelligent. In this case, the more time they spent with friends, the less satisfied they were. If you find that you can relate to these weird results, chances are, you are smarter than most. Although these conclusions might seem contradictory, the psychologists who conducted the studies believe they can be explained using the Savannah theory of happiness. This theory states that back in the days of hunters equals gatherers, it was essential to their survival to spend time with family and friends. As a result, most of us feel unhappy when we are isolated from people. Scientists believe that people who have higher IQs don't follow the norm because they are more adaptable to the environment, such as living alone or being in a crowd. Regardless of whether you prefer to be alone or would rather spend all of your time with your family and your friends, the important thing is to do what is right for you. However, if you find yourself wondering if you might be a genius, there are some characteristics that most geniuses have in common. Check out these 7 signs that you might be a genius. Number 1. You like to read. Are you a person who likes to spend all of their free time reading, spend hours buying or borrowing books, and often lose track of time because you are stuck in a book? Then you are probably more intelligent than average. And what you choose to read doesn't matter. Some people with extraordinarily high intelligence focus on one genre, while others like to consume a wide array of reading material. Don't discount your intelligence just because you prefer to read romance books or manga. Number 2. You like being alone. People who are higher in intelligence tend to spend a lot of time pondering over ideas and talking to themselves. Since this cannot easily be done when you are in a group of loud people, being alone is preferable to those with higher intelligence. People with higher intelligence also tend to derive less satisfaction from being around friends and are less reliant on others' acceptance of them. In many cases, being around groups of people, even close friends and family, is exhausting. Number 3. You question everything. Do you find yourself questioning everything that is going on around you? Do you find it difficult to just accept something as fact without any rationale? Were teachers and other adults frustrated that you were questioning them? If you find yourself constantly questioning everything, chances are you are a genius. Number 4. You are curious. Along with your IQ, you also possess something called your CQ, or your curiosity quotient. The CQ hasn't been studied in as much depth as IQ. However, evidence suggests that those with a higher IQ have more increased investment in learning. This curiosity is often what leads to eccentric experiments. The same experiments have led many intellectuals to discover amazing things like the light bulb, telephone, and computer. 5. You know there's a lot you don't know. The more you know you don't know. This is also known as the Dunning-Kruger effect. This effect says that ignorance of ignorance appears in people whose lack of knowledge makes them both make mistakes and prevents them from realizing they are making mistakes. On the other hand, those who are more intelligent tend to be hyper-aware of what they don't know, and they can accept it. As a result, those with higher intelligence are better able to absorb knowledge. Number 6. You are open-minded. People who have higher intelligence are more likely to be open to new ideas and opportunities. They tend to be more willing to consider others' opinions and views and are eager to try alternative solutions. At the same time, intelligent people are careful about which ideas and perspectives they choose to agree with. Intelligent people question everything, which means they aren't going to accept an alternate idea at face value but will be open to hearing the evidence behind the alternative thought. Number 7. You can focus on things for hours. If you are able to spend hours upon hours focusing on something without being distracted, you might have a higher IQ than those around you. The reason for this is that those with higher intelligence can concentrate on the most important information around them and filter out the rest. This also leads to those with a higher IQ, sometimes missing the details in what is going on around them, especially if they occur in an area outside of their focus. Have you found those characteristics matching yourself, at least somewhat? I wouldn't bother too much about it. Just be yourself and do what you feel in your heart to be right.